Good morning, learners. I hope you're having a great day. As we all know, I'm here for the social science history, and today we're going to be learning about the tomb of Tutankhamun. As we learned about the pharaohs, the ancient Egypt, and the beliefs and religions of the ancient Egypt, Tutankhamun was one. Who was King Tutankhamun, as all you learners may ask? Well, I'm going to give you a brief or a summary of who King Tutankhamun was. I'm going to be reading in our notes and you're going to be listening. Okay? King Tutankhamun, or as others may simply know him as King Tut, was the great-grandson of the great pharaoh Amueba III. King Tut was the son of a controversial figure in the history of the 18th Egypt's New Kingdom. His name was Akhenaten. Akhenaten introduced a century-old religion system to worship a single deity, the sun god Aten. He moved Egypt's religious capital from Thebes to Amarna. After the death of Akhenaten, who was the father of King Tutankhamun, two pharaohs briefly reigned before the 9-year-old prince, then called Tutankhamun. This was then when he took the throne. As we all know that kings and queens in the ancient Egypt were royals, and they were buried in a way where royals have to be buried. They are buried in gold and they are buried with their treasures. Because of his tomb's small size, historians suggest King Tut's death must have been unexpected and his burial was rushed. How did King Tutankhamun die? As I said, I have notes here and you're going to be listening and I'm going to read out the notes. After that, I'll be asking questions. Okay, how did King Tutankhamun die? There are many theories as to what killed King Tut at the age of 19. He was tall but physically frail, with a crippling bone disease in his clubbed left foot. He is the only pharaoh known to have been depicted seated while engaged in physical activities like archery. Archery is going to be one of our first keywords that you're going to be learning. He was a traditional breeding in the Egyptian royal family, also likely to contribute to the boy's king poor health and early death. DNA tests published in 2010 revealed that Tutankhamun's parents were brother and sister, which is an old way where in tradition brothers and sisters could marry each other, and that the king's wife Akhenaten was also his half-sister. Their only 2 daughters were stillborn. Because of King Tut's small size, historians suggest King Tut's death must have been unexpected and his burial was rushed by A. A was one of the pharaohs, and we learned that a pharaoh is a ruler or a king. The tomb's attendables were packed to the ceiling with more than 5,000 artifacts, including furniture, chariots, clothes, weapons, and 130 of the lame king's walking sticks. The corridor of the entrance of the king's tomb was apparently looted soon after the burial, but the inner rooms remained sealed. The pharaohs who followed King Tut chose to ignore the rain, as despite to his work restoring Amun. Tutankhamun was tainted by the connection to his father's religion upheavals. Within a few generations, the tomb's entrance has been clogged with stone debris built over by workers' hands and had been forgotten. Now we go to the person who found King Tut's tomb. His name was Howard Carter. By the discovered Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922, British archaeologist Howard Carter had been excavating Egyptian antiques for 3 decades. At the time of the discovery, archaeologists believed that all the royal tombs in the Valley of the King across the river from ancient Thebes had already been cleared, which means archaeologists before Mr. Howard Carter thought that every Egyptian king was revealed, but they didn't know about King Tut's tomb. Excitement about the new tomb, the most intact ever found, quickly spread world, igniting a global fascination with the boy pharaoh and the powerful civilization of ancient Egypt. It took Carter and his team a decade to catalog and empty the tomb, which means, as we have said, or as we have read, that King Tut's tomb had furnitures, 130 of his sticks, and his gold and all his treasures. As we have read and known more about King Tut, I want you learners to write 3 keywords that I told you about. I'm not going to tell you. You're going to find out and research about them yourselves. And I'll be giving you an assignment, which is you're going to create a box which will symbolize King Tutankhamun's tomb. As I said, you're going to be researching about the king's tomb and all the keywords that I told you about. So all you learners need to do is find a model which you'll be using boxes and make a model of King Tutankhamun's tomb. That will be the end of our lesson. Thank you.